Hey folks, I'm sure that some of you watching this video have probably already heard of Reflect Orbital. And in case you haven't, um, apparently there is this a group of people here, shown here: Ben Noah, Tristan Semmelhack, Zay Rosen, Robert Salazar, Erkin Sidik, Harsha Reddy, Patrick Finley. These folks here have decided that they want to sell sunlight in places where there's not normally sunlight and shouldn't be sunlight. And they say sunlight after dark. Okay. Here's their little spiel on their website. The sun is a huge fusion reactor that supports all life on Earth. You bet your ass it does. It belongs to everyone, not just some little fandango, new age pseudoscience tools. The sun's light contains 24 trillion times more energy than humanity uses today. It is an unending source of energy. Oh, really? Because we've been told that it's not necessarily unending in certain theories, right? Reflect captures that sunlight. Well, aren't you freaking special? And brings it down to Earth using mirrors in space. Oh, you don't say. You mean the types of mirrors in space that a lot of people say don't exist? You capture that sunlight using space mirrors? Really? And then power up the solar future and lighting our world after the sun has set. Isn't that such a cute animation? It's just so cute. Yeah. You're essentially directing energy. Okay. Let me just get right to the point. I'm sure y'all know where I'm going with this and y'all know how I feel about this. Because I believe they've already been testing and doing things up there in the upper atmosphere and reflecting sunlight in ways that they should not have been for several years now, at least. Probably a lot longer, at least a couple decades, since they've been researching in space-based solar systems. And yes, folks, some of the studies in the groups go back to the 60s for researching space-based solar. So we're talking, 60 some years of research and development being done. So you're not going to tell me that they haven't been putting these things up there. You're not going to tell me that there are already space mirrors and groups and agencies directing energy. Okay. And as far as I'm concerned, they shouldn't be allowed. That's just my opinion. Okay. And it's just curious to me when, I'm looking at the sky on certain days and I'm seeing stuff like this, you know, it just the way that some of the angles of the sun's rays and the shadows and things going on. And I've captured several different skies that it would appear that there are like actual like physical structures up there for at least the last 3 to 5 years. Okay. So my issue is I don't remember voting on it. In fact, I don't remember a time when science actually said, this is what we're doing. We're doing it now. And a time when the general public is past this whole thing of it just being a conspiracy. There's no point of acknowledgement from the scientific community and from the climateers and from the people in charge of monitoring our solar activity. What is that really going to do when you really think about it? What is it really doing to our sun and our environment and our atmosphere when they're redirecting sunlight into places and areas that there's normally not sunlight supposed to be and hasn't been? There's going to be adverse reactions. And I don't think that companies like this should be allowed to just go ahead and sell sunlight using a constellation of in space reflectors. No, I don't consent. And this kite shape here, this is very curious to me because I've seen this same depiction, in a publication called Owning the Weather by 2025, right? Talking about directed energy weapons. Why are we allowing these people to do this shit? For real. Why aren't more people speaking up and saying something about it? It just, they shouldn't be allowed to play around with this thing. Just like NASA shouldn't have been allowed to launch out a space probe, what they call the Parker Solar Probe. They shouldn't be allowed to do stuff like that without having some kind of public consensus. There has to be some kind of public notice at the very least, And this is kind of curious. This was this morning as the sun was rising from the east, and you can see when it takes its step up, because where we're located here in southern Nevada, this is looking right to the east, and the sun moves from this direction over here, and the light comes up, and then it comes up, and it goes over our location where we are at. Okay, and I've observed this multiple times. You can actually see the points where it jumps up and then continues to move towards our location. Yeah, it's we've had some very interesting colored skies. I'll just say that because of all the wildfire smoke. And it's even worse this morning off to the west because of Cali. But you can see it here when it rises up. Right now it's still moving towards us. Still moving towards us. There, now it just jumped up. And you notice how when it jumps up, it gets smaller. It's because it's moving a little bit further away because it's moving up. Now it's coming towards us again, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's one more video here. It shows another example of it. Right now, it's there. It just jumped up again. Now it's moving towards us. Moving towards us. There, it just jumped up again. Jumped up another notch. And now it's moving towards us. So you can see the movement of the sun. It's not 93 million miles away, and it's not hurling around us either. This is moving around us on a level plane. And you can see it right there. It just jumped up so that it can get up over the hills here. Now, jumped up again, and now it's moving towards us. So, anyway, I just don't consent to a lot of these projects. Does that make me a Debbie Downer? You know, whatever. You can call me a Debbie Downer, call me a Karen, because I be caring too much about this kind of shit. But I don't think they should be allowed to be using mirrors in space, and I think they've already been doing it. Because, like I said, because I'm repetitive, I'll say it again. If you look through my videos, you'll see I have several videos that I've, captured around here in southern Nevada, in our skies around here, that clearly show there are physical objects up there, and they're attempting to cloak them in cloud structures, in cloud vapors that they create. And I think they've already been doing it for quite a while now, and I don't consent. I do not consent. Yes, folks, space mirrors are real. So can we move past that point of it just being a conspiracy and start getting to the point of looking at the detrimental effects that it could possibly have if they are allowed to continue?